think what we'll start with is a quick review. We started off with breathing, and breathing is the most important. Oxygen is vitally important. And if we don't breathe with all of our lungs, as we've already talked, then we're not giving ourselves the best opportunity to get that life-giving oxygen in there. But also the Chinese and the ancients called what's in the air something called chi. And in Japan, it's called ki, and with a K, and in India, it's called prana. And all ancient exercises worked with this esoteric stuff that's in the air that gives life. And at first, to a Westerner, we exercise our muscles, and we want to look good on the outside. But an Easterner exercises his organs, and he's healthy on the inside. And I've researched it for many, many years. But when I first learned these exercises, the sun breathing exercises, I was doing hard karate. And then you realize that something very soft and gentle was supposed to help your lungs and help your livers and help your spleen. And I was a little bit skeptical myself that something just waving my arms slowly could actually have an effect on my internal organs. But then you realize they've been practiced for 5,000 years and they've got to have some credence, but they actually have good results. And things like yogas and qigong and various other systems grew out of this original system that basically, in its simplest form, was called doing. And that means that ancient man, thousands of years ago, had saluted the sun. They thought the sun was God, and they found different ways of breathing. They wake up in the morning and thank the fact that it's come up again, and they do various movements that eventually became systemized. So if you came down through India, they would become yogas. If you came down through China, they would become qigongs, which is a form of kung fu. It's the sort of breathing parts of kung fu. But it actually all originated way back from a man called Bodhidharma, who traveled down the Silk Road teaching his various things. And as he got to monasteries, he realized that a lot of the monks couldn't meditate, because meditation is a big part of healing and doing other things with the body and the mind, that they weren't strong enough to sit still for the meditations. That might sound strange, that you're not strong enough to sit still. So he actually used to teach them movements that eventually became kung fu's. Now, when you look at an animal, all an animal does is exercises in only the way that keeps it well, able to predate or not be predated on. So it doesn't get up and do 100 press-ups like we do, because we want big biceps. It simply does what it needs to do to get the work done. And when it's done that work, it then repatterns those muscles. So if you watch a cat get up, it'll stretch. A dog gets up and stretches. Even a horse, if you first let a horse out of the stable, it runs about and then it loves to roll on both sides on its back, kick its legs, and then it's ready. It's switched all its anti-gravity muscles back on. We don't need to do that, and we externally build our muscles up, which is okay, but we don't pay any attention to our internal organs. And when we get sick, we don't realize what's wrong. Someone doesn't say, oh, you've got a poorly spleen. You have a disease. You have a syndrome. You've got to push that out the way. That when your spleen isn't working properly, some of these points are going to be tender. You're going to have certain symptoms. When your liver's not working properly, you're going to feel like you've got a hangover. When your brain's got brain fatigue, you've got points there you can rub that switch that off. And so you haven't got a disease. You've got the precursor of one. But then what it's making you do is to start to internalize. And that's what we need to do, look inside of ourselves. And so I think the word internalize is a great word for that. But the point I'm making is, when we go to the doctors, we go when we're sick and we expect a result. And not many people actually invest in keeping well. But then you've got your yogas, you've got your exercise and things like that. And yoga is probably one of the best for making the body energies work, because that's what it's designed to do. You're stretching meridians, you're breathing, you're working out. Qigong's another one. But anything that starts to become Pilates or and this is not knocking them. What I'm saying is they start to become exercises. So you've got all these routines that are making you cardiovascular work. They're all a different kind of health. We're talking about this internal health that the ancients talked about. And so breathing is the biggest part of that.